Oh, yeah, I just started recording. Sorry, I forgot. Thank you. All right. What was I again? Yeah, I was trying to explain something that if you go to a supermarket, they always have list of products they have in the store, and there's always a kind of a table for their sales. You agree with me? It's not all the products they have in their store that they sell each day. Yes, you agree with me. Now, which is why you cannot use products as your fact table. It's not all these products that are in sales. Everything in sales, they are what have been sold already. They've been sold already. Why, if you use this as your fact table, you start seeing some of the products be having, by the time you get to revenue, they be having no data, or some of the maybe dates to no data because they were not sold, which is another reason why you cannot use this product as your main table. So that being said, I'm going to pick my sales as my main table. So if you still remember, we're going to duplicate this, move or copy, move to hand, you click on create a copy. So you have another copy for sales. I can name it, let's say, Tumiche store. Yeah, let's name it Tumiche store. So now let's start with the location. If you look at location and Tumiche store, they have something in common. That's the zip, right? Which means I can use the zip to bring in the state and the country. Now, one of the reasons why we merge, or another reason why we merge tables together is, if I should ask you now, um, product ID 1924, what is the product's name? What state produced the product or something? You now start having to go to location table, trying to look for, using the zip. You know, this I said 1924, right? You use the zip, okay, M5R, you start having to look for this. So to avoid all these things, that's why we combine the tables together in order to get more informations about the different dimension tables. All right. So now I will use they have something in common. They have the zip in common. So I will use the zip. Country is already in sales. It's already here. The only thing we don't have here is the state. So how do I bring in the states? The first thing is I create a column for states like this. So I'll use my index match as equal sign index. Oh, all right. Nobody's even mentioned that I've not structured my table. I've not structured my data set. So in order to carry this out, it's important that you structure a data set. Location. I believe you all know how to structure a data set by now. That's why I'm not saying anything about it. Control T. Sorry, hope we can all hear me clearly.
Yes.
All right, thank you so much. Manufacturer tab. The We have the sales tab. We have the product. We have the products tab. And of course, we have Sumishe store. So let me just name it Sumishe underscore store. All right. So to bring it a state, we use our index. Now our array is definitely from location, right? Pick location tab. Our row number, we don't know our row number. That's where our match function comes in. Our lookup value is what they have in common. That's the zip. So I'll pick my zip. The lookup values from which array is from the zip array from location. So I will call my location tab. I will select zip. And the match type, of course, is exact match. I'm being fast because, well, I dealt so much with it last week, so I'm just doing correction. So the column number, I'm bringing state, right? That's number 2, I believe. All right, fantastic. Okay, good. Okay. No, just like what I was explaining, you see that it's not all the states that are inside location that are here. It simply means the other states that are not here, no sales was made there. That's the meaning. So, manufacturer. But if you look at manufacturer table, you discover that our Tumiche store does not have manufacturer ID, which means manufacturer table and sales, that is Tumiche store, we don't have anything in common. But if you look at product, you will see that product have something in common with sales and as well have something with manufacturer. So let's leave manufacturer for now. Let's bring in product name, category, segment, and everything inside manufacturer table. So let me start with the product name. Don't forget, sales and product, they have something in common, which is the product ID. So let me start with the product name. The array is product tab, right? Our row number is match. The lookup value, that's the product ID. Our lookup array, which is from the product table, that's the product ID. The match type is exact match. And the column number, I think, let me try and say. Okay, product name is the first one there. So that's 1. So we have our product name. Another thing we can bring in is the category, but I won't do much. You can easily bring in your category and your segments yourself. But now, another one you might have missed is the manufacturer. Now you discover that there's manufacturer ID in products, which means I can use what product and sales have in common, that is product ID, to bring in this manufacturer ID to sales. So I will create a new column and name it manufacturer ID. So I will say use my index match. The array is, don't forget, is product tab. My row number, that's match. The lookup value is product ID. Don't forget that's what sales and product have in common, product ID. So we have the product tab, selecting the product ID. The match type is exact match. What's the number of this guy? Okay. So put manufacturer ID is number 4. So that's 4. So now I have manufacturer ID, which means I can now connect manufacturer. That means I can now connect sales with manufacturer. So that's quite easy, if you agree with me. So now I can bring in manufacturer name. There is manufacturer. The lookup value. Now our lookup value is definitely manufacturer ID. And the lookup array. It's still the manufacturer ID. The match type is exact match. And our column number is, oh goodness. I just wait. Okay, that's 2. Our column number is 2. All right, so that's how to combine this together. Please make sure you complete your own. I might be giving us a project on this particular data, or would be. So make sure you complete yours. Hope you understood what I just did. Hope nobody is confused.
Please, I have a question.
All right, go ahead.
When you are bringing in state in Tumishe's, I've forgotten what to use now. I discovered that in location table, the name of the state are Newfoundland and Labrador, something like that. But when it came into Tumishe stuff, it was Ontario, Manitoba that came up. So I
All
thought,
right,
uh,
continue.
okay, I thought is all this thing in a location table, the state in location table are supposed to be in this Tumishe table.
Actually, I already explained this. Maybe you were not paying attention. I said is that, in fact, this very question you asked, I mentioned it myself. I said you will discover that it's not all the states that are here, or it's not all the states that are here, rather. I mentioned it that you have here because those states, no sales were made in those states. I gave an example earlier that you have a store. Tumishi has a store. She has list of products she sells. But if you agree with me, it's not all the products they get to sell every day. If you are going to agree with me, in fact, for a whole year there might be some products that people might not even patronize. It's possible, yes. So anything you have in order dimension tables that they are not in your facts table simply means sales were not made on them. They were not made at all. Like this Newfoundland, Labrador, whatsoever now. If you come to Tumishi store and try and break down the states, it's not here. It simply means sales were not made in those states. That's why you don't have them here. The fact that they are in your location tab, the location table does not mean they are going to be here. It's just like what kind of example can I give now? Um,
I've gotten it. Thank you, sir.
oh, okay, all right then. Okay, I think there's no more question of you. Let's go to what we have for today. So please, we're getting deeper, going deeper into Excel. We're going to be rounding off soon. I believe we should round off next week. So we can move into other softwares. So everybody open your data analysis Excel. You check your folder, you see a file name data analysis Excel. Let's open our data analysis Excel. So this is what it looks like. You might navigate to this place. So it's a larger data compared to the ones we've been working with. Let me give us a few minutes to get our own ready. So you can just check it out. We have stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4. Down from your data exploration. The data exploration basically consists of your KPI. KPI means key performance indicator. Key performance indicator. And what does KPI means? What does key performance indicator means? These are your, how should I put it? These are the values you derive from your analysis, like your minimum revenue. All those values you cannot visualize using charts. I can't visualize minimum revenue now. I can only display the number. I can't visualize maximum revenue, total revenue, average revenue. Those are your KPIs. They are called key performance indicator. How many variables of columns do we have? How many rows? All these are your KPIs. And the stage is called the data exploration stage. You're just trying to explore your data. And we've all done this, except maybe how many columns of variables do we have? And maybe how many rows or records. We should be able to do how many rows or records. So if you look at these things, we've done them for stage one. We will look at it very closely. So we should not waste too much of time on that. So do we all have our file opened? If you have it open, please drop a yes in the chat box. So I can go ahead with the class. Okay. Is he the only one that has his file open? I want to be sure we are all on the same page. That's what I'm asking. All right, thank you. Let's continue then. All right. So now if you look at this data set, I want someone very quickly, look at this data set. Someone very quickly should tell me what kind of data set is it? Where do you think this data set is being gotten from? When I mean where it's being done, I'm not asking for the type of table it has. And if you want to go ahead and tell me the type of table it is, there's no issue with that. If you can tell me that, no problem. But just tell me, where do you think this data set is being derived from? Someone very quickly.
Customer.
Customer data. Thank you so much. So you know the first thing we do, everybody structure a data set and name it customer data. Customer data or customer table, anyone. You see, you start having customer ID, gender, marital status, yearly income, revenue. Everything is centered on the customers. So, and the primary key here is what? The customer ID. That's the primary key here. So you can as well say is what is the dimension table. All right, I believe you've all structured that data set. So navigate to this data exploration. You have a column for answers. So I know I've not taught us how many variables of columns do we have? I've not actually taught us the functions to use for that. The function we're going to be using is columns. Columns. You have column, you have columns. It says the columns returns the number of columns in an array or reference. So I will just, using columns, I will select it. The array is what? That's the name you give to your table. So if I say customers, you should find columns inside customer data. So give you this. So I believe everybody should have 10. So very quickly, I want us to do from how many rows of or records do we have to average revenue. I give us 5 minutes to do that. So let's waste time on it. How many rows or records do we have? What is the minimum revenue, maximum revenue, total revenue, and average revenue? Let's quickly do that. I think we should be done by now. So if you have done yours correctly, you might have guessed. Rows, to get the number of rows. From what I've taught you, either if you use your count function or count a function. If you are counting, if you are using count, now you can't say you should count the entire data set like this, no. Because this will return the number of cells you have in your data set. You see, you're going to be having 69,000, so this is wrong. So if you want to use your count function, you make sure you select a particular column to count. And of course, the column has to be a number, right? So I can say yearly income or revenue. So you have 70,422. But another simpler function you could have used is rows. Those like you have for columns, you have rows. Customer data. So you have 70,422. For minimum revenue, I believe everybody should get all this. For minimum revenue, your customer data, you select your revenue. So you should get £3. For your maximum revenue, you should get 5,398. For your total, that's sum, customer data, revenue, you should get 27,664,000, like you have in there. So for the average, we have customer data. So is there anybody that have something different from what I have here? Is there anybody that have something different from what I have here? Nobody. Okay, that means we all got it right. All right, so let's move to stage 2. Now the stage 2 is the data preparation stage. Your data is clean, so you've calculated your KPIs. Don't forget what I called KPIs, your key performance indicators. Now the next thing is we want to add to our columns. I'm going to teaching us how to extract, your dates. You have the year, you have the month, you have the weekdays, and you have the days inside your dates. So I'm going to be teaching us how to extract year, month, and the likes from your dates. So now if you look at this stage 2, the first thing there is derive a new column for year from other dates. That's the meaning of the brackets, other dates, and year, month, which means you create a column for year and another column for year, month together. So let's go to our table. Let's go to our table. Now, the first thing we want to do is we want to insert a new column. So I can decide to insert my new column here. So now look at this. You see this arrow. You see this arrow pointing down like this. You select it like this. You right click. You will see insert here. So you click on the insert like this. It's going to create a new column for you. So you can name the column year. Don't forget our year. You're trying to get it from order dates. So you have it like this. Have you done that? So after that, how do you now extract the year from the order date? Now there's a function called text. Let me see if I can increase my. All right. So there's a function called text. Text. Like you're trying to text someone. So if you look at it, it converts a value to text in a particular specific number format. So that's what we use to extract our date parameters from dates. So I will select it like this. Now, if you look at it, the first thing you have in your text is value. The value means what date exactly do you want to extract this from? And if you look at the question, it says order date. So you select order dates like this. You select the first cell under order date. That's the value, which means you put a comma. Now the format text is okay. What do you want to extract? Is it the year or the whatever it is? So now look at this. If it's year, we use Y. Now you know there are different formats of writing your year. Sometimes you write 2024. Sometimes you write only 24. So if I use two Y's like this as my format, it will give me the year in this format. But if I use three Y's, it will give me in full. Or if I use four, it will still give me in full. Four Y's, it will give me in full like this. I hope everybody's going with me. So now the second question says, which is the part of number one, the year month together. But before that, I want us to extract the month first. How do we do that? Some of us might have guessed. Instead of using Y, we use what? We use M. So I will insert a new column. I will name it month. I can even say months of order. So anybody will be confused, or you can just leave it as month. Can just leave it as month. So for the month, it's still the same function, your text. Your value is still order dates, but this time around, your format is going to be what? Now we have four different ways of writing your month. We are in April. So it's either you write 04 to represent your month, or you write APR, which represents April, or you write it in full. Now look at this. If I type 2M like this, it will give me the number. If I type 3M's, it will give me the short form. Now if I type it in full, that is 4M's, it will give me in full like this. But let's leave it short because of our dashboard. There's a reason why I'm saying we should leave it short. So we can just have it as short as this. So let me give us a quick class walk. Let me see if you're going to get it. Extract the year month. It's quite easy actually. If you look at number one, the way it's written, that's how you structure your format text. So let's try the year month. So create a new column for year month and extract it. They should be together. So we can write it like this, year, month. So let's quickly do that. Please, when you are done, drop a done on the chat box. Nobody's done yet. Please, okay, okay. All right. So we have someone who's done. So very quickly, can you explain how you did yours? Um, Olua Fashayo Fadiba. Unmute yourself and let's have it. How did you do yours?
Okay, I entered text,
Okay,
open column. I
yes.
clicked the other date. I clicked the other dates.
Okay,
Put a comma,
all right.
then an inverted comma, and I press Y triple M,
Okay,
followed by a close another inverted comma.
okay.
Then I close the bracket.
All right, thank you so much. So it's as simple as that. Now I want us to start the month also. Okay, we've started the month already. Now let's look at question 2. Question 2 says derive a new column for weekday, e.g. Monday. So they're asking us for the 7 days of the week. We should derive a new column for that. So now let's insert another new column. Let's name it weekday. Weekday. So for your weekday, I know some of us might be guessing that we are using W. We are not using W for weekday. We are using D. Now look at this. Now I can extract my weekdays and I can extract my days. But this is the difference. For your days, when I mean days, I mean 1 to, let's say, 31 days in a month. Yes, those are the days we're talking about. For that one, if I use 2 days like this, to extract the days of the month. But if I use 3 days, it will give me the weekdays, but in short format. If I use 4, you already know what that is. It will give me in full. But we use 3, so it will give me in short form. Now, with the explanation I just made, let's insert a new column. Oh, that was a mistake. Let's insert a new column and bring in and extract our days of the month from other dates. I'm not too fast. Already know what that is like. You use 2 days, and we have our days of the month. We have our days of the month. All right. I believe we are done with that. So let's look at this number 3. It says match the first name and the last names together as customer name in lowercase. Now they're saying we should do 3 things. The first thing is you match the first name and the last name together. Or in fact, let me even say the first thing is insert a new column and name it customer name. Then you merge first name and last name together. After that, then you put it in lowercase. So how do we go about that? Like I said, the first thing is you insert a new column first. Let me insert it. I can decide to insert it here. So I will name it. This time is not full name. Don't forget the service. We should name it customer name. So I will say customer name. Now there's a function called concatenate. Concatenate means to join 2 or more variables together, 2 or more values together, 2 or more text together. That's concatenating. So I'm going to concatenate both the last name and first name. So I use my equal sign. I'll use concatenate function. Now, if you see concatenate, you can add as more text together. Let's say I have middle name, I can still join the middle name with it. So text one, normal Nigerian system of writing names is always the first name first. Sorry, it's always the last name first, which we call our surname, followed by our first name. So now for text one, I will select the last name. For text two, I will say, comma, this, the first name. You see, we still have text three, but that's all for now. You see, you push enter. Now, if you look at this, you discover that they were just joined together. There's no space between them, which means you have to introduce space. Now, how do you introduce space? You have to go back to that formula. You see, so this space, this space is between last name and first name. So you have to go to that place between last name and first name. How do we type space in a formula? I need someone to speak up. How do we make use of, how do we insert space in a formula? When writing a formula, how do we insert our space?
We open an inverted
You
comma.
open the
Okay. Can one person just go ahead?
you open the quotes,
Okay. Open the
type
quote,
space,
space,
then you close the quotes.
then close the quotes. Thank you. Now, what he just said is going to serve as text 2. Because it's a character too. So it's going to serve as text 2. So after your last name, you have a comma. You open the quote, put your space and close it. You have another comma, in which your text 3 is now going to be first name. So if you have it like this, and you press enter, it's going to give space to your customer name. Hope you are all getting it. So now we are left with one thing. The question says we should put it in lowercase. Now, how do we change it to lowercase? You are going to nest this formula. You already know what nesting is. You go before it. Now, there's a function called floor. There's another function called hopper. And there's another function called proper. Now, what the lower does is everything you are applying the function to, it's to return them in lowercase. Now, what the upper does is everything is going to return them in uppercase, that is capital letters. Why the proper? You might want to ask, what does the proper do? The proper is going to return all the values by capitalizing the initial letter inside the word. Like the way you have this now. The way you have your customer name, this is proper. But if you fill the question whatsoever, this is how to apply it. I will say lower, in which your concatenate whatsoever becomes your text. So if you apply it, you see to change everything to lowercase. If I use upper, okay, so to change everything to uppercase. Now, if I use proper, now you will agree with me, the lowercase is not making sense, so I will use proper. Proper, we capitalize the initial letter of each word. Can we proceed, please? I should give us time to catch up. Okay, I take that as we can proceed. All right, so now we have the customer name. Let's go back to our data preparation tasks. Now, this number 4 and 5, and okay, number 4. This number 4 says derive customer age as difference between birth date and other dates in terms of year. Let me read that question again. Derive customer age. We want to know the age of our customers. We want to know their ages. But we already collected data about their birth date. And of course, by the time they come to our store, by the time they comes to our store to patronize us, we always record the order dates, the dates in which they order. So we have their birth date, or you have the other date. So now we have to get the age as difference between birth date and other date, which means the age you are calculating is the age at that particular time they made their orders, not their present age. Like today being, it's today 27. Yeah, next today 27. Like today being 27. No. Is the date, the age you are calculating is that time they made their order, or their age at the moment they made their order. That's what we want to calculate. In terms of year, of course. Now, if I ask us this question now, please let's pay attention to this. I like anybody to answer. Let's say I'm being given birth to in year 2000. What is my present age? I'm being given birth to,
24.
yeah, someone said 20,
24 years.
24 years old. Thank you very much. Now, if I'm going to ask us that, how can we go about this? Let me see. Let me see if someone can try. The question already says age difference between birth date and other date. If I'm to give us this as classwork now, I'm not saying we should do it. How can we do it? Can someone quickly unmute and speak up? If you are to do this now, how do you think you are going to do it? Let's go. I don't want to call names, so someone should bail us out though.
Hello, sir.
Oh, all right.
Okay. In my own opinion, I
All
would say
right.
we derive the year from birth date.
Uh-huh.
Then we minus the year from other dates. We have done it before. So you subtract the two. You get the difference between the two.
Yeah, fantastic. That's very smart. Now let me go back to my question. When I asked the question of if I was giving birth to in year 2000, what was my present age? The person said 24. What you just explained is what the person did. This person just subtracted 2000 from 2004, and we have 24. Which brings me to my next question. Now let's assume I'm being given birth to in October 2000. What is my present age? October 2000. What is my present age?
23 years.
23 years, that's correct. Now, I'm just trying to explain why we cannot just subtract the years. Now, if you look at your date has months. Assuming we're only given the years, you're only giving years, then you can apply the approach to Michi said. You subtract the years from each other, but you won't get accurate answers. You're going to be having a difference of plus or minus 1. You can try it out. You're going to be having a difference of plus or minus 1. Like when I said year 2000 now, and year 2024, my age is 24 years, yes. But when I included the month, it's now 23 because I'm not here at October. I'm just 23 plus. I won't say 23 plus, I'll say 23 years old. So that's why we're not going to be using Tumishi's approach, but that was smart. So there's a function named dated if. That function is going to fathom using month. It's going to use everything together, apply it together the way it's meant to be. So the function is called dated if. Now, this particular function is not registered on this Excel. So even if you're using the latest version, I don't know. But if you're using, in case you're not using the application software, you're using the web, it should be there. But if you're using the application like mine, it won't be there. It's called dated if, but it works. Dated if. Now let's create a new column and name it customer age. Where should we create that? You can create it anywhere. Since I'm dealing with other dates and birth dates, I would like it to be far. Wow, other date is here, birth date is here. Okay, let me insert it here. Let me insert it here. No. I should insert it after it. Yes, let me insert it here. So I will name it customer age. Oh, yeah, let me just say customer age. If I leave it as age, well, everybody knows this is a customer table, so it's definitely the customer age too. So how do we go about it? I said we are using dated if. So I'm going to type my dated if. Like I said, it's not registered in Excel, this version. So by the time you type your dated if, it's not going to bring it out for you. So you just select your tab key. Oh, no, sorry. It's not going to bring it out for you. So you just open your brackets. So by the time you open brackets, it's going to show you something down there. That does not mean it's still not bringing it out for you. Just telling you it is recognized. That's what it's telling you. Now let me give you the format of this dated if. Since it's not registered in Excel, let me give you the format we're going to be using. Now this is the syntax of dated if. The first thing you have is date 1, comma, date 2, comma, format. So we have date 1, date 2, format. So your dated if should follow this progression. Date 1, date 2, and the format. So let's come back to this. Oh, no. So let's come back to this. So using the format I just gave us, dated if. Now, date 1. Who can guess what my date 1 will be? Is it the birth date or the other date? Is it the birth date or the other date?
Other dates.
Are you sure? Don't forget, when I said year 2000, you started calculating from year 2000 now, have you? So it should be the birth date first, because your the birth date comes before your other dates. So it should be the birth date first. So your date 2 should be the other dates. It should be the other dates. Now your format, as you might have guessed, your format is year. But this time around, just one Y. Just put one Y in double quotes. Just put in one Y in double quotation as a format and press enter. Now there are cases, sometimes there are cases when you apply this formula, it might give you, it might be happening to anybody there, I don't know. It might give you in dates. Sometimes when you apply your formula, it might give you like this. Don't be scared. Just change the format to general or number. It will give you like this. So should in case your own is giving you in dates, just change it to general or number. It will give you their ages like this. Is anybody lost? Any question before we proceed? Oh, that's nice. I can see we are all digesting it. I think we have more of ladies today. Our men has gone to one there. All right. So that means we are good to go. So now we've gotten our customer age. Okay, good. Lest I forget. Nobody even decided to ask me that. What if you want to get the present age? Nobody decided to ask. Or maybe we don't need it. But since nobody has asked, let me ask myself. Instructor, how can you get the present age? So don't forget this date is till the other date. So what if you want to calculate their present age, like as of this very second? How can we do that? So let me just for the sake of well, to clear it out. Let me okay, no. Let me insert a new column. So I will name it present age. It's just to show us, it's not a must to do this one. I just want to show you how to calculate their present age. So use your equal sign. Still your dated if. Your first date is still your birth date. So we have this. Now your dates too will not be your other date. Now there's a function called yes, there's a function called today. There's a function called today. Today we phantom out the exact dates we have presently. So the function does not come with any whatsoever. Just as it comes like they just close the bracket. That's it today. It came with an open bracket, just close the open bracket like that. And your format is still in year, like this. So if you apply this, it will give you their present age as of this very moment. So that's how to go about that. All right, let's go to the next question. The next question says, derive the age band based on category shown on the left side. Now, if you look at the left side, you see each category here. 19 to 19, teenager, blah, blah, blah. Who can quickly help us with how to go about this? What function do you think we can use to derive the age band based on categories shown on the left-hand side? What function do you think is appropriate to use?
The if function.
The if function. Thank you so much. So we're going to be using the if function for this. But since I've taught us the function, are we going to try that? Or we've forgotten? We've using it to eat eba or fried rice.
Yes, let's try it.
Oh, thank you. So let me give us the same thing with number 6 is also in function. So let us try it. I expect everybody to be able to get this anyways. So if you don't get it, don't give up. You must get it. So let me give us 10 minutes. I think 10 minutes is not too much. Let me quickly give us 10 minutes to iron it out. Both number 5 and number 6. When you are done, just type done on the group. So let's quickly try that. All right, is anybody done with the number 5 one? Is anybody done with number 5?
Sir,
Alright.
the one you gave us was the one with just like just a number, not like range like this. The one you gave us, the one you taught us, but this one is 20 to 34. So I don't get it from my end there.
Okay. Is there any other person? Is there anybody that is getting it there? None of the females are talking. Okay. Who's that?
Oluwatumise.
You got it right.
Yes.
Okay, call your formula. I'm coming. Let me create the column. That's the H band. Okay. Okay. Let me have my H band there. So please let's pay attention as she calls our formula. So all right, continue.
Okay. Equals to
Yes.
if open bracket, then customer age
Okay.
is less than or equal to 19.
Good. It's less than or equals to 19. Yes.
Yes. Let it be teenager, like comma, open bracket, teenager, close the bracket.
You mean in quotes? Close the quotes.
Yes, comma.
Okay.
Another if again.
Under if, I hope you are paying attention. This is the correction on.
The customer age
Okay.
is less than or equal to 34,
Less than or equals to 34.
comma. Young adults in quotes.
Yeah. Now, while you're trying to type all this, make sure the way you're typing out your young adults is the same way it's being spelled in your category here. There's a reason for that. All right, continue.
Comma. If customer age
Okay.
is less than or equal to 49,
Less than or equals to 49.
comma. Adults in quotes.
Okay.
Then if customer age
Yeah.
is less than or equal to 64,
Okay.
then comma, seniors in quotes.
Okay.
Then comma, elderly in quotes.
All right. Thank you. That's absolutely correct.
Welcome.
Oh wait, you're not done. You're not close the bracket. There's no need
Yes.
for that. All right. So we have
4 brackets.
1, 2,
Yes.
3,
4.
4. Yeah. Yes, you have 4 brackets. So there you go. Now, from what I can't remember the name. What you said? You said the one I gave you is not in range. It's just that it's actually the way I put it. It's actually in range. If I go back to it now, if I say, I think I still remember the one I gave you. I think I said less than 1 million, right? Let me say less than 1,000. And I say less than 2,000. For instance, this is like what I gave you, right? Now, what I just did now is the same thing as saying, less than 1,000, or is it like saying 0 to 1,000, That's if they are just positive integers. Don't mind it. It's adding table because it's beside my table. And this one is the same thing as saying 1,000 to 2,000. It's still the same thing. I'll say this one is 2,000 to 3,000. I think that's where it got you confused. This is like what I gave us. It's still the same thing with this. Now this is what she did. Oh, come on, come on. All right, so this is what she did. Now, is it two ways? Is it that you say less than or equals to 19? I know you might want to ask that. Is it not from 13 to 19? It's because if you can look at the data set, our data set, in fact, there's not even teenager there in our data set. There's no one less than 19. There's even no one less than 13. So you don't have to say that, okay, 13 to no. When you say that less than 19, it covers everything you have here too. So it's either you say less than or equals to 19, or you can say less than 20. If you say less than 20, you are saying everything, you are saying from 19 now what should be teenager. So instead of saying less than or equals to 19, less than or equals to 34, I can try to say less than 20, less than 35, less than 50, less than 65. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Do we understand now? Who was the person that asked again? I believe
I get it, sir.
Oh, okay. All right. So I believe the rest also got it too. So thank you to Michelle once again. So can we now try number 6? Or in fact, let me just to make it fast. Because I want us to cover quite well. We've covered a lot already anyway. So for the derive the customer value based on spend, I want us to do that as assignment. This is called derive the customer value based on spend. This is what you are using. I want us to do that as assignment. So now you must have come across these functions. Let me start a new. I will delete it later. But let me just leave it. All right. So you must have come across this function one way or the other. You have a count blank. You have count if. Stroke count ifs. We have average if. Stroke average ifs. Average ifs. We have sum if. Stroke sum ifs. So I'll take it one step, one at a time. So your count blank. If you say something is blank, it means something is empty, right? So it's used to count empty cells in a data set. Now look at, we have count A, count, I already explained this once. So count blank is used to count number of empty spaces in your data sets. Now, if I want to check if there's any empty cell, not empty space, empty cell in my data sets now, I'll just use count blank. It's returning 0, which means all the cells are filled. Now your count if and count ifs. Now let's listen to this. If I want to know the total number of customers that are from, let me check the country, that are from Australia, for instance, I'll use my count if. I only want to know the total number of customers from Australia. I'll use my count if. So in other words, count if is used to count a particular criteria. Count if only accepts a particular criteria. Why your count ifs accept two or more criteria. This is what I'm saying. I can decide to count customers from Australia at the same time that are female. Maybe that her name now is maybe McDonald, I don't know, or Jenny. Let me say Jenny. And her name is Jenny. You know, I have three criteria already. So that when you have two or more criteria, that was when you use your count ifs. So now let's practicalize this. Let's say, um, let's say what is the total number of customers from Australia right? What is the total number of customers from Australia? There's one criteria, so I'm using my count if. There's one criteria, so I'm using my count if. All right. So I say that my equal sign count if. Now, count if comes with two parameters. We have the range and we have the criteria. The range means the criteria range. That is, okay, I have Australia. Australia is under which range? Is under the range of countries. So I will call out my table first, which is the customer data. I will apply my square bracket and I'm going to select what country. Because my criteria is on, this is already entering this place. Sorry. Oh, yeah, thank you. Can you go a little bit more further? Yes, thank you. So we have our accounts if. Now I said the range is in country. That's the column housing your criteria. So you select country. Now that's for the range. Now the next thing is criteria. What's the criteria? The criteria is what? The customers has to be an Australian, has to be from Australia. So I'll put it in double quotes. Or now this is spelling sensitive. Let me put it that way. If it's not correctly spelled, let's say I type Australia like this. It will give me 0 because it can't find something like that. Whereas I made a mistake in my spelling. So you have to be sure you're typing your Australia the same way it's been written in your data set. So now I have a value, which is 4,281. So everybody, let's quickly prove for, let's calculate what is the total number of customers. No, let me see. What is the total number of male customers? That's our class work. Very quickly. Drop your answer in the group. What is the total number of male customers? Let's quickly do that. Very quickly. Drop your answer in the group when you're done. What is total number of male customers? Okay, I have an answer already. 9,493. All right, so let's see. If you use a count if, I thought it was now the range is under gender this time around. So the customer data, gender. Of course, male is, it becomes is under the gender category. So now you have to be sure, go to your data set. Now you discover something. Your gender is written in F and M. So if I type male, or if you had typed male, you would have been getting 0. So I will type M because that's what's in my data set. The fact that I said male does not mean you should type male. You need to check your data set to confirm. So we have 9,403. So that person that I dropped the answer is correct. So now that's how to go about one different criteria. Now let's go to how to calculate 2 different criteria. So let's say, what is the total number of customers from Australia? Let me see, what's the total number? Yes, from Australia that are married. Yes, the total number of customers from Australia that are married. The number of customers from Australia that are married. Now I'm using count ifs because I have more than one criteria. I'm using count ifs because I have more than one criteria. Now the first thing is criteria range 1. You can decide to start with Australia or your marital status. So let me go and confirm for, okay, married, okay. Married is being spelled like that, it's good. So my criteria range 1, let me start with the marital status. So I'll select my customer data, which is my table. Select the marital status. That's the criteria range 1. Now the criteria is what? Married. I'll put a comma, which will take me to criteria range 2, which is Australia. But the range is what? Country. So I'll select my customer data. I'll select country. And the criteria 2 is going to be what? Australia. Australia. So you can go as much as getting more criteria as much as possible. As much as possible, as much as you want. So if you calculate this, you have this. So let me give us this very, very quick class work. How many customers? What's the total number of male customers? Let me say female customers. What's the total number of female customers that are married? Female customers that are married, 3954. With yearly, is it yearly or monthly income? With revenue, okay. With revenue 3954 in the year 2011. All right, this is our classwork. Very quickly. What is the total number of female customers that are married with revenue 3954 in the year 2011? Very, very quickly, when you're done, put your answer on the group. This time around, I can call on anybody to provide a solution. So make sure you are solving it. You can call on anybody at all. And it's doing me like calling a female. We should be done by now. It's not that difficult. So who's going to help us with it? Or we should turn it into assignment. It's not that much, so let's. I've given us enough time already. Okay, I've not heard Ogunbode Bukola, I've not heard you speak today, except when you asked the question. So Ogunbode Bukola, can you help us out? I guess she's still working on it. Or any other person? Is nobody done with it? Ola Yadamilola, can you help us out?
Hello, good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening. Have you done it?
Yes, I've done it, but I'm having a challenge with the last thing, the revenue, because the revenue we had on the data is in pounds. So, and you said we should find the revenue that has 3954. So, it's not saying it as 3954.
Okay. All right, so you don't know how to put it in this particular format. Is that it?
Yes, to change the format.
If I were you, I would just come here and copy this. Or
Yeah.
or you can just do like this. 39. But I understand what you're trying to say. You might not be able to give you that because if we look at this, can you look at this? Can you see Microsoft?
Yes.
If you look at this, you have 3953.9884. So I think I should have told you to try that. Try 3953.9884 instead.
Okay.
Yeah, 3953.9884. Should be able to give you your answer.
No.
It's still not giving you.
Giving me.
Okay, let
I
me
got
check.
80.
Oh, someone got it right.
80.
Okay, so how did you type your revenue?
Revenue. I use the one you just called out now.
Okay, so I'm about to check for myself. Let me see where the issues. Let me use just count if to check if the issues with the revenue. Revenue. All right, let's say 3954. 0. Okay. All right. Let me see. 39. Let me copy this. So whosoever got 80, how did you go about?
I got 258.
Another person. Okay. I'm coming. Oh, okay. What I said you should do works now. Olaya, right, Abby?
Yes, I tried it now. I got 258.
Oh, okay. So that should have worked. So the person that got 80, did you use 3954?
No, I used the one you called.
The one with decimal point.
Oh, okay, okay. And you got 80, Abby?
You
All right, let me quickly check it out. Let me see. That's quite a long formula to type. All right, so let's have it. Let me have it on that. So just guy will not be taking me around. So let me just type it here. You have count each. So the first thing is, what is total female customer? So let me start with my female. So the criteria one is going to be my customer, data, gender. And the criteria is F, capital F. And the criteria two is that I'm married. So we have the customer ID for the criteria and the marital status. And the first criteria is married. So I believe I'm married is like this. And the third one is revenue. The customer data revenue. Oh, someone should please call the number again. 39. Someone should please call the number. 53, Abby.
0.9884.
9884, okay. So you can decide not to put it in double quotes because it's a number, it's not a text, so it's not important to put it in double quotation. So the next thing is the year, which is another criteria. So it's under year. And we have 2011. All right, so if you apply this, we have 80. So whosoever got is it 200 or something? Try and check your formula. There's probably an error there. Or is there another person that got the same thing that he got? I think 280. 280 what again, please? Hello? What was it you got again? Is there another person that got?
Wait, so I've seen my mistake. I didn't include the year.
Oh, okay, okay. You stopped at the revenue. Okay, okay. All right, thank you. So in case you didn't get to, you can just check the video later. So, all right. So for your average eaves, it's still the same procedure. It's still the same procedure. You have average eve, you have the range, you have criteria. It's just that for your average. Now let me explain average and now average and sum eve, they are similar. You know, if I'm telling you to find the, for instance, the average revenue of customers that are male, you know, two things are involved. We can quickly mention it very quickly. If I tell you to find the average revenue of customers that are male, what are involved? Just quickly tell me.
Revenue and gender.
Thank you very much. Revenue and gender. But that does not mean revenue is a criteria. No. Revenue is not a criteria. Gender is a criteria, but revenue is not a criteria. We are only finding the average using revenue. So don't get it mixed up. Revenue is not a criteria. The only criteria there is one, which is male. That's the only criteria you have there. We only have more than one criteria. Now, if I say find the average revenue of customers that are male and also married, now you have two criteria, male and married. The same thing applies to your sum. Of course, it's not like count. Count is straightforward. You can just count Australia like that. It's no entity. But if I'm saying sum the total number of customers from Australia. Of course, they are summing something. Oh, sorry. Sum the total number of revenue of customers in Australia. You are summing something up. If I say you should sum Australia now, is it possible? Can we sum Australia? You can't sum Australia. They are text. So of course, you know that there must be a number that we are summing up. So your revenue, it is not a criteria. It's just should I say parameter or something you have to abide with. So I will give us one. So for that, you already know the difference between if and ifs. Ifs has two or more criteria. So I don't think much about time. So okay. So this is going to be, let me do this. Now let's scroll down to, don't forget our assignment though. Derive, let me even highlight it. Derive the customer value based on spend. Now let's go down to stage 3, which is analysis. Scroll down to stage 3, which is analysis. It says create a tabulation of sum of revenue by country and gender. I just explained revenue to you. It's not a criteria, but your country and gender is a criteria. So this is going to be our assignment 2, but let me use this small one to explain. It's the same question, but this time around we have how many criteria? Just one, which is the age bound. So I will use my sum. Don't worry, I will calculate for average and sum. Let me start with the average. So let me use the average first. Let me use the average first. Now, the first range they are giving you means your criteria range. Please note this. The first range they're giving you means your criteria range. Now, what's my criteria range? Age band. Please listen to this. Age band, right? So I'll call out my customer data. Now, before you can do this, that means you have to, in case, good. I told you something that while you were typing your name, make sure you're typing it the same way it was written there. Because if it's not the same way it was written there, you have issue here. Look at this, age band. What's my criteria? My criteria is, now, I won't type in teenager the way we were doing the other time. We were doing it that way because we were not referencing a cell. This time around, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to calculate. I can't be typing them one after the other. So I'm going to reference the cell. So I'll just pick this cell, A825, which represents the criteria teenager. Do I need to fix anything? Well, it's not important, but you might decide to fix your A if you want, but it's not important. You can leave it like that. So I'll put my comma. The next thing is average range. What do they mean by average range? There must be a particular value, a particular number that you're trying to calculate the average. What is it? Revenue. So I will call out my customer data again and select revenue. I close my bracket, enter. Now we have an error here. Who can guess why we have this error here? Who can guess? Anybody? Anybody? I already said the answer when I was trying to calculate the if function. I said, when I was trying to explain the range why we have 13 to 19, I said something then. If anybody can remember. I said that even your teenager is 0. If you can look at your data set, if you go to your data sets under age band, where is age band? Under age band, and you check this filter box like this, you see there's no teenager. So that's why that error is giving, that's why it's giving you this error. You see others does not have the error, right? So that's how you have this error. So what do we do? Oh yeah, now, if error should give us no data. So we have no data. So, although no. This one should not be giving us this now. I'm not meant to drag it to total actually. Your total should be you should sum this up. Sum everything here up. That should be your total. So this, but don't forget, I'm only using average to explain. Now I've used average to explain. Let me use sum to explain. So this time I will use sum if. The range, don't forget I told you the range means the criteria range, which is your, call out your customer data first, which is your age bound. So if the spellings you wrote or you're writing a function is not the same with this, you're going to be having error. So your criteria one is going to be teenager as usual, while your sum range is still revenue. So you see this one, we have 0. So straightforward with us. The total should not give you 0. You have to type it out. Sum this. Now, if your total is not giving you the same total revenue you calculated here, then something is wrong somewhere. So I already taught us how to apply the average if and some ifs. So you have to fill these formulas. Sorry, you have to fill this table. This time it's the same thing I did, but this time it's 2 criteria, country and male. Now let me give you hints. Or should I not? There's no need. I won't give us hints. There's no need for hints. Let's go and do it. Let's go and do it. Let me just give us hints. You might need it. Not like you will need it. It depends on you. You might need to apply mixed referencing here or absolute referencing, depending on you. So that's the hint I will give to you. So don't forget your assignment number 6 under stage 2 and this particular one. And make sure you try and complete everything we did today. So tomorrow, by God's grace, we go straight in data visualization. So we'll be starting with pivot table and pivot charts tomorrow. So which means, let's see how far we can go tomorrow. I'm looking at, by God's grace, next week we are going to be done with Excel. By God's grace, we must be done with Excel by next week, so we can move to other softwares. So please, you can't afford to miss tomorrow's class. It's already getting very interesting. It's been interesting anyways, but then it's about time you start visualizing what you've done. And visualization is part of the interesting part. That's when you show your designs and everything, blah, blah, blah. So that's when you build, after visualization, that's when you build your dashboard. So, all right, do you have any question before we call it a night? Any question concerning what we've done today? No question. Okay. That means we all got everything well. So in the absence of no question. Okay. Pelumi Adebayo raised your hand.
My question is still on the sum ifs, the ifs, count ifs, the ifs generally. You make reference to the table before you select the column. Okay.
Yes.
When you're doing your calculations, what if I decide to just select my column without making reference to the table? Am I not going to have my am I not going to still have my results?
Yeah, I think there was a time, I don't know the software, I don't know the version of the software. There was one of my students that tried that one time or so, and I think it worked. So depending on the software you're using, based on the version, have you tried it?
Yes, I've tried it before and it works. Using just sum if, the columns, and only that without referencing the whole table.
Yes, so depending on the software, like I said, I think I remember there was a student of mine that uses it like that. So depending on what you're using, sometimes you might have to call out your table. Sometimes there's no need. But the thing is, I just want us to get used to calling out of tables, because there might be a situation whereby you have to work with a data set that has, let's say you have 3 tables and each table has revenue. In that case, you have to indicate, okay, which revenue exactly are you dealing with? So, but in this case of just one table and one revenue, or whatsoever column it is, it also works that way. Like I said, it does not work for everybody. It depends on kind of the version of software you're using. So I think that answered your question.
Yes, already. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. So any other question? All right, so then we meet tomorrow. Please don't be late tomorrow. I'm trying to round up as much as possible, or as fast as possible with the Excel. So please don't be late tomorrow. You don't even want to miss anything at any point now. In fact, if you miss 1 minute, it's already gone. So all right, please don't be late tomorrow. Make sure you do your assignments. You can read on pivot table and pivot chart ahead of tomorrow's class. So we meet tomorrow. Let's enjoy the rest of our weekend. Enjoy your church service tomorrow and all. To those that are Christians, eh? All right, so see us tomorrow. Do have a nice night.